In this video, we will discuss the photoelectric effect and explain which observations cannot be explained by the classical wave theory of light. We will then explore the concept of photons and show how this can be used to explain the photoelectric effect, with quantities such as threshold frequency and work function. Finally, we will be able to calculate the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons emitted from the photoelectric effect. We commonly associate light with waves, as they demonstrate wave-like behavior such as interference and diffraction. However, we will soon see that light can also demonstrate behavior commonly associated with particles. One such phenomenon which gives an insight into the particle nature of light is the photoelectric effect. This effect occurs when electromagnetic radiation incident on a metallic surface causes electrons to be emitted from its surface. The electrons emitted in this process are known as photoelectrons. There are certain circumstances that cause photoelectrons to have higher kinetic energies, and some circumstances where no electrons were emitted at all, regardless of the intensity of the incident radiation. However, scientists were unable to explain a number of important experimental results using the wave nature of light. If we treat electromagnetic radiation as a wave, then electrons on a metal surface would continuously absorb energy from incident electromagnetic waves. With this logic, if electrons absorb this energy for a long enough time, we would expect that they should eventually accumulate enough energy to escape the metal surface and be emitted. Moreover, this theory would predict that any frequency of light should eventually cause emission given sufficient time and intensity. However, from experimental results, the photoelectric effect only occurs if the frequency of radiation exceeds a certain minimum value. This is known as the threshold frequency, denoted by F sub 0, and is unique to each metal. If the frequency of radiation used is lower than the threshold frequency for that particular metal, then no electrons will ever be emitted from its surface, regardless of intensity and the time elapsed. This is completely contradictory to wave theory, and it is unable to explain why a special threshold frequency should exist. In wave theory, the energy transferred by a wave is related to its intensity, and moreover, intensity is proportional to the amplitude of the wave squared. So a high-intensity wave will carry a lot of energy, and we would expect that high-intensity radiation on a metal surface should produce photoelectrons with a greater maximum kinetic energy. However, it was observed that the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons depends only on the frequency of incident radiation, not intensity. A greater frequency results in greater kinetic energies. Finally, since low-intensity waves have small amplitudes and carry little energy, there should be a measurable time delay between lower-intensity radiation reaching the metal surface and electrons gaining enough energy to be emitted. Instead, experimental results showed that radiation above the threshold frequency will always emit electrons immediately, even at very low intensities of incident radiation. To explain these results, Einstein suggested that light consists of photons, which are massless bundles or quanta of electromagnetic energy. The energy of one such quantum of energy is given by the following formula, where h is known as Planck's constant and f is the frequency of the electromagnetic radiation. This means that each photon carries a specific, discrete amount of energy. When a photon is incident on an electron in the metal surface, it transfers all of its energy to that electron immediately, rather than a slow buildup of energy associated with waves. Now recall that each metal has a threshold frequency F0 required to emit photoelectrons. At the threshold frequency, electrons will have been given just enough energy to overcome the attractive forces holding the electrons in the metal and be released from the surface of the metal. As a result, these released photoelectrons will have zero kinetic energy. If we calculate the energy of a photon at the threshold frequency, this is equal to hf0, and this amount of energy is called the work function of the metal, denoted by phi. The work function is the minimum amount of energy required to overcome the attractive forces that keep an electron within the metal surface. It should be noted that only a single photon can interact with a single electron. A higher intensity of radiation increases the number of photons incident on the metal, but their individual photon energies are the same, as this only depends on frequency. So this will increase the number of emitted photoelectrons, but not their kinetic energies. This provides important evidence that light behaves as a particle. At frequencies above the threshold frequency, photons will transfer energy to electrons so that they can overcome these forces and be emitted. Any remaining energy is then transferred to the kinetic energy of the emitted photoelectron. However, note that a more tightly bound electron deeper within the metal needs more energy to release it from the metal compared to electrons located on the surface. So photoelectrons can have a range of different kinetic energies. With this in mind, let's calculate the maximum kinetic energy possible for photoelectrons. Using the principle of conservation of energy, we can write down the following expression. We know that the energy carried by a photon is given by hf, and the minimum energy required to remove an electron from its surface is the work function phi. So denoting E sub max for the maximum kinetic energy, we can rearrange this to find that the maximum energy is the difference between the incident photon's energy and the work function of the metal, and this is referred to as Einstein's photoelectric equation. This can be represented with the following graph, which shows how the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons varies with the frequency of incident photons. From this graph, the intercept on the frequency axis will give us the threshold frequency, and then the work function can be calculated from this value. Alternatively, the work function can be determined by extending this line to the y-intercept of the graph. This graph further emphasizes that frequencies below the threshold frequency will not result in the emission of photoelectrons. Moreover, a metal with a different work function produces the same gradient as it is equal to Planck's constant. Let's now consider a numerical example. Part 1 wants us to calculate the threshold frequency of zinc. To do so, recall that the energy of a photon at the threshold frequency is equivalent to the work function of the metal. This means we can rearrange for the threshold frequency and substitute in the relevant values. The work function needs to be converted into joules, and recall that 1 electron volt is equal to 1.6 times 10 to the negative 19 joules. So the work function is equal to 6.88 times 10 to the negative 19 joules, and then Planck's constant has a value of 6.63 times 10 to the negative 34 joule seconds from the data booklet. We then arrive at 1.04 times 10 to the 15 Hz for the threshold frequency of zinc. Part 2 then wants us to calculate maximum kinetic energy. Using Einstein's photoelectric equation, we can substitute the relevant values for the frequency of incident photons and work function. Completing this calculation gives 3.13 times 10 to the negative 19 joules, or equivalently 1.96 electron volts for the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons. The following setup can be used to determine the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons, where the tube is evacuated to minimize collisions between electrons and gas molecules. When radiation is incident on the metal cathode, photoelectrons will be released with a range of different energies. Any photoelectrons emitted will be able to move across the evacuated tube and reach the anode, and an electric current will be measured. But notice how the negative terminal of the variable potential difference is connected to the anode. This means the anode actually can be made to repel the emitted electrons, and more photoelectrons will be prevented from reaching the anode as the potential difference is increased. Eventually, the potential difference will be large enough to stop the most energetic photoelectrons, and the current will fall to zero. This potential difference is known as the stopping voltage, denoted by V sub S. By definition, the potential difference between 2 points is equal to the work done per coulomb of charge. So the work done in moving an electron from the cathode to the anode will be negative eV sub s, since electrons are being repelled and slowed down. Using the work energy theorem, the work done on an electron is equal to the change in the electron's kinetic energy, where the most energetic electron leaves the cathode with maximum kinetic energy and has zero kinetic energy at the anode. Therefore, the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons can be determined from the charge of an electron multiplied by the stopping voltage. We can now note that increasing the intensity of incident radiation while keeping frequency constant increases the photocurrent since the number of photoelectrons emitted is increased, but the stopping potential remains the same as it is independent of intensity. We will now provide a final summary of the key understandings from this video. The photoelectric effect occurs when electromagnetic radiation incident on a metallic surface causes electrons to be emitted from its surface. This phenomenon provided evidence for the particle nature of light, as classical wave theory could not explain certain observations of the photoelectric effect. Photoelectrons are emitted from a metal surface when incident photons have a frequency equal to or above a minimum value known as the threshold frequency, and this is unique to each metal. The maximum kinetic energy of these photoelectrons can be calculated using Einstein's photoelectric equation, where phi is the work function of the metal. Finally, maximum kinetic energy can also be calculated from the stopping voltage as follows. This now concludes our video on the photoelectric effect. Thank you for watching.